The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Good evening, everybody. Anthony here. I'd like to thank you for taking the opportunity to get involved in this small focus group in order to hopefully basically determine to get the best out of any upcoming webinar. You'll have to forgive me, this is the first webinar I'm actually doing. I'm quite used to looking at face-to-face so I can see your expressions and know exactly what you're trying to think if you're having any problems and try to come up with a different solution. However, this is somewhat different and I'll do my utmost to give you the best benefit that I'm able to do so. Now, like anything that I've done in the past, there is a legal side to the situation, and what we need to do is just cover that part first. Now, I've been broadcasting my basically disclaimer, which legally I really have to do, and that basically stipulates the cans and do nots, basically. So I can only give general investment advice. I cannot give any personal advice. I do not know your personal circumstance, so you'll have to bear with me because all I can do is just give you, as I said, general investment advice. Now, by attending this webinar, we had this disclaimer on there, and by clicking the link, you basically agree to those terms and conditions. Now, what I'm going to do, first of all, is I want to make sure all of you are familiar with this type of routine or with this type of webinar. Now, what I've done is I'm going to switch screens, and I'm just going to put up pretty much the screen that normally operates what you see. I just want to make sure you are aware of it. Some of it you probably know quite well. There is others that might have some difficulty, so let's just get this little part out of the way. And the screen's about to switch over, and all I'm doing now is just demonstrating what you should be looking at on your side that controls what you look at. Just to give you a little heads up, normally you can see this part of the screen here that I'm just highlighting is exactly what that is there. Now, when this part, if you click that, it will shrink to this. You can expand it to go back to the full screen that you see there. That pretty much controls the page. If you want to go to a full screen mode, just click that button and it'll take your entire screen of what you will be looking at. If you click that button again, it will bring it back to a smaller window. Now, like anything else with webinars, I can't see if someone wants to ask a question, so it really does make it a little bit difficult. So there is a process, and I guess this focus group is trying to work out this process so we can basically get it right. Someone said that something to me earlier today. He attended a webinar last week and he found it extremely boring because there was no real interaction. Now, I'm going to try to do this as much as possible. Every time I do something, I would like to ask a question. The way it operates is if you want to ask a question, this little hand underneath that, if you click that hand, basically I can see that hand next to your name. Hopefully I can expand what I'm looking at more because there's more in the box is a bit smaller than I anticipated. And basically what I can do then is turn your mic on and basically allows you to ask the question which everybody can hear. Okay, so I can also basically, if you've got a hand up, I can actually turn everybody's hand down. Now, if you don't have a mic and you want to ask another question, basically, just in the bottom section here, this is enter a question for, in fact, this is for staff, but you can do it for yourself. You can enter the question, but please don't hit the send button until I tell you to, I see your hand and I can say ask the question, so I know what the question is. Now, if everybody will be able to see the question, which I'm not quite sure yet, but if they don't, I will read the question out, and that way then I will answer it. What I will try to do, I'll analyse some stocks and so forth. I'll start off with my usual, what I used to do in the past, the XJO. I'll do the Aussie dollar, I'll do gold, I'll do the Dow oil, and if you want me to do any particular stock, just literally type the symbol down here and send it to me, and I'll do them one by one. I've allowed anywhere from 30 minutes to 90 minutes for this webinar. The system does automatically shut down at 90 minutes, so I'll try to do less rambling now to give you more time for that. Okay, now what I'll do now is I'll switch to my main screen, Just give us a sec. Okay. What I've got up at the moment, well, you're about to get it gold. Like I said, if you want to go to full screen, just hit that little screen button as I showed you before, and you can go full screen, and you can always extend that little thing remark so you can actually ask a question later. Now, it's been a little while since I've basically did this for anybody, but I'm sure we'll do quite well today. I'll just extend the monthly like we've always done in the past. You should always look at the longest time frame first and work your way down. Now, what I was planning to do today is to start off with a monthly, then go to a weekly, then go to a daily. I will leave it at that. At the end, after I do X amount of instruments, if you particularly want to do like an intraday or something, just let me know and I'll put that up also just by hitting the message in there as we just discussed earlier. Now, what do we see? We see gold here on the monthly. It's a huge trend, and if you remember in the past what we've discussed, what is the big trend? So I'm just drawing all the main trend here. Now, as we can see from this main trend, what do we see? We see a huge broadening formation. I'm not going to try to analyze what was the past. This is, even though it's a bit of like an educational course, I'm going to try to do it as much as possible. But at the end of the day, what you really want to know is where this is really heading. Now, what do we see? A broadening formation, if it breaks on the downside, it really suggests lower prices to come. Now, how much lower can it go? What else can we see there? Well, let's have a look. Is there a downtrend? Let's try to clone this. Well, clearly, there is a channel here. Is there something else that could suggest if this is to continue, is this going to come down fast or is it going to come down slow? Well, let's have a look. I'll just remove some of the lines to make life a little bit easier. If anyone can see here, I've used these in the workshops quite a bit. If anyone can see this. Now, this is basically a mare's tail. Now, if anyone can remember with mare's tails, pardon my drawings a little bit, needs to be a bit more artistic. Sorry, I'll do that bit again. So as we can see, this is a mare's tail. It hasn't broken down. You really got to break this section here. However, if it does break down, price targeting this is like so. From the top of the tail of the mare, is back, down to the bottom, across to the potential approximate break, and you will see this breaks down. You can go down around the $940 to $990. Now, is there anything else, any resistance to stop this of coming down to those levels? Let's have a look again. Oops, wrong one. Sorry. Well, purely on this angle, because this is actually trending up, this is what it really has got to break for it to go down. What we will do now is we'll drill down lower, say to the weekly, then to the daily, and see how that pans out. By the way, if you do have any questions, hold on, there is a question, 1 second. Sorry, Simon asked, will there be a recording of this available later? I have been recording it, Simon. I've started the recording. I haven't worked out where I'm going to make it available later and where to update it, but yes, I'll try to work something out where I can get it to you. Okay, next. Let's continue on the weekly. Again, this is, if you look down here, that's the low, but you should get it closer to the body, which is the next low, and we'll put it across like so. So we have really your 1, 2, your 3 touches here. So what this is telling us, for the mare's tail to actually work and go quite strong, this is what we'll be looking at. Is, you know, if we have a look at this, this could have been a potential flag, but the problem is you've got no pole. and the pole's pretty unclean. If it goes to the top here, you've got this big kink. So the only thing you really got is this triangle, which is like almost, this is more like well, it is a falling wedge, which can also be really quite contradictory to the mare's tail, because what it's saying is if this breaks on the upside, we're going to get a rise in the market. So again, what this is saying is you really should be holding off at this point of time, wait till it consolidates a bit more, and we'll drill down a bit further now into the daily to see where it heads from here. But overall, if you can see this mare tail's come off, you'll have a very sharp fall. Now, going to the daily. That's where the basically best fit is. First thing we should do is try to clone it and see if we're in a channel. Are we trading this up and down? And the answer is absolutely. So again, we're in a channel. This is really pretty unclean if you were trying to use it as a, maybe as a triangle, like a pennant. It really is not very clean, as you can see there. However, if this does break down, what would be the potential downside? What the best target is the channel target. So top of the channel, bottom of the channel, break out of the channel, and again, this takes us down to the $1,150 odd mark. So basically, that's the best you can do for gold. If you look at the rest of the patterns, like what we did on the weekly, trying to borrow on the daily, all that does is just mirrors it, nothing else. As you can see, you can clone it and bring it down and it'll do exactly the same. So there is nothing else you really can do on the daily because you're looking at the closer part. Okay, let me see if there's any questions anywhere here. Sure. Okay, there is no. If anyone's got any questions on this, this is the time to ask on gold. If you want to put your hand up, I will then have a look at it and I'll answer it. I'll give it a few seconds while I start looking at the next one. Okay, no questions. I'll go into the next one. I'll do the Aussie dollar next. I'll remove some of these lines. Got some. What an interesting free fall the Aussie dollar's been, hasn't it? Okay, let's have a look. Monthly, again, first of all, what have we got? Can we clone anything here? That's about it on the monthly. Is there anything else on the... Actually, that's broken down, so that it's a failed falling wedge. There really is nothing else on the monthly that I can see. I'll go to the weekly. Okay, I'll extend these lines. I had them on before, was looking at this. Oops, I cloned it instead. Just one sec, sorry. I'll start that one again. That was the original one that broke on the monthly. Then I did another one. I was trying to do it from the weekly. And as you can see, at the moment on the weekly, it's actually pretty much borderline. It can actually technically go a little bit lower here. One sec, I'll just do that. Because I'm just going to touch just here on that there. So as you can see on the weekly, it really, you couldn't class this as a falling wedge at the moment. However, has it hit a target? Now, if we have a look, is there anything that we can see that potentially can give us some sort of price target if it's actually gone there? So what we'll do is we'll get the price targeting tool right from the top here to the bottom of this little pennant and the breakout point just there. and we can see it really is a potential reversal point here. So if anything, we'll be looking decent consolidation here and probably a bounce. I think like anything else, usually when we get a bit of a free fall, we are going to get a bit of a bounce at the same time. Okay, hold it just a second there. I'll drill down a bit further now on the daily. Just trying to see if there's anything I can get any more out of this one. No, there isn't at the moment. We'll go to the daily. Again, what do we see at the daily? What is it consolidating? Now this is interesting. Now, a flag or a pennant is a flag or a pennant when it actually does what it's supposed to do. Always keep that in mind. You can always start off and start looking like some sort of pattern, but it will only be that pattern once it actually does its job and breaks through its barriers. If, however, what we were looking at the weekly or the monthly before, it breaks through those support areas, how far can it go down? So really this is how we've got to look at it. If we were to trade this, we have to ask ourselves, well, if the damn thing breaks down, where's it going to go? Next level. And if it bounces, where's the next level? Well, first of all, if it breaks, always keep in mind that the potential down target is going to be even lower. And that will be down to the 79 area, as you can see by the price targeting tool. So keep that in mind, that if it does break, honestly, I'd find it a little bit difficult personally myself, but you know, I've seen a lot of strange trading in my life, so I always believe in saying always expect the unexpected. However, now, is there anything else on this daily chart that we're looking at that can actually give us a hint that potentially maybe it is bottoming out? Is there something else we can target with or do something? If we look pretty close, what we can see here is, again, a broadening formation. And the target at a broadening formation, we want to know, is this a strong consolidation area, or is the damn thing going to go through? So how do we target out of that? Well, click from the top of the broadening to here, to its breakout point, and hey, what do you know? Right there. So what this tells us now, that on the daily, we hit a target. Any major target that you hit, we've seen it in the weekly, we've seen it in the daily. Generally speaking, it tends to consolidate. I mean, look how long it consolidated here when it broke out of that to this point here. So it goes for quite a while. So I guess what I'm suggesting here, maybe we shouldn't expect any major moves to the downside at least. I'm not saying it's not going to go lower. However, don't expect any major moves to the downside, not for a little while. I'll be quite surprised, probably especially going into the Christmas period now. So hold it just one second, please. I just want to check if someone asked another message here. My thing is so damn small. Sorry, one sec. The question is, can I use the zigzag tool to verify the flagpole is valid? On currencies, it's a little bit more difficult. I'm not saying you can't, try it out, but on currencies, it tends to be a little bit more difficult because normally, you're talking about, are you going to put a 5 pip, a 20 pip, or 30 pip reversal? When you were talking about shares, you tend to say, give me a 10 cents or a 30 cent reversal, and you can get a pretty good zigzag. But when it comes to currencies, because we trade in pips, and that's 1 cent is 1 pip is 0.1 of 100th of the cent, it makes it a bit more difficult to actually produce a decent zigzag. What we've got to do is almost retrofit it. So yes, you can, but you might have to just experiment a little bit. Now, for the question that you asked, Simon, I'll try to do a bit later on based on time. I just want to make sure we get through everything, and if somebody else wants to see some other instruments, I just want to make sure I'm satisfied. But the goal for me to try to get this right is to make sure, I guess, what I'm saying, it's crystal clear in your end, and I really would appreciate your feedback when it comes to the end of the webinar. You've got basically where you can send what you thought of it, how I can improve it. I mean, this is what I'm trying to get you know, as a small focus group, this is what I'm trying to get out of it. It's a bit difficult, if you can appreciate. Like I said, I'm here on the other side looking at monitors, not at human beings, and I know you're on the other side, but I don't know if you're scratching your head, you got it, you didn't, or I missed something out and you want to point it out, you know, so that's what makes it a little bit more difficult. What I will do also with the Aussie dollar, I'll convert it also to, say, I'll have a look down maybe to 180 or 240 minutes, only because I've been asked this question now, so I better, in regards to doing a zigzag on it, so I'll go a little bit more on it. Let's have a look to intraday. Oops, I'll just remove some of this. Should have realized that was on there. Just getting the data. Okay, at 60, I'll convert it to 180. See what's on 180 first. Oh, that was a little bit of a mistake. Sorry. I didn't realize I had it to all bars, but here it is, still done it anyway. So let's have a look. What have we got of this 180-minute chart? And it's getting more data, by the way, at the moment, so you can tell by the bottom of this. I'll clone it. And as you can see, we're in a channel. We're at the upper side of a channel. And is this going to break down or is it going to break up? And look, this is what we've got. If you're looking at it, probably from here actually. This is what we're looking at. Now, remember what we said, there was a price target. Well, that price target's been hit here. You can see now this is decision time. Is this going to break on the upside? Look, if statistically speaking, if I had to try to work out the most probable cause, I would be, even though it looks bearish at the moment on the 180 to the downside, you would think it would break more on the upside. However, it might decide to just let me finish this bit off. It's still getting data, so it's slowing me down a little bit. I would not be surprised, of course, if it tries to test the previous low before we actually might want to bounce on the upside at the moment. But this is consolidating in this area here, and if it does break down, even though potentially you can do a small little flag, but not the best there is, unfortunately, but the downside, I would say it'll be very limited. Decision time, crunch time, wait and see which way it goes before you make the decision. If it does break on the upside, and he managed to do that, potential target on the upside, of course, it's going to be first level like so, somewhere like so on the upside. So I would suspect that this is what overall it will try to do more than the down. Obviously, if you're trading in a very short range on 15 and 10 and 2 minutes, as we did in the past, different story again. I'll be looking at this particular pattern that I've just drawn here, drill it down to 60 minutes, down to 15 or 10, and then 5 and down to the 2 minutes if I was trying to trade it in a very low time frame. I hope that sort of answers that question. Someone asked another question here. Somebody just said, look at 2 hours, another target met. I'll have at the 2 hours and 120 minutes. Let's have a look. Actually, probably got lower than that. You can even go like that. So you can see it's quite a sizable there. So I'm trying to see the target at the moment. I'm sorry, I'm not always the best on this, trying to see my eyes. Since you last saw me, I had to magnify my glasses many times, and I'm still struggling with them. I can't see that 2 hours target, I'm sorry, at the moment. So unless you're trying to say small flag there, which is find it difficult, I cannot see. But potentially, again, you're in the consolidation phase in this 2 hour chart. I would strongly watch it myself, which way we'll be looking to break out, unless you're really trading a very tight range, 188.80, okay, last 6 seconds, so channel. Peter is saying 180, okay, last zigzag inside channel. Okay, so you're using the zigzag, good for you. Okay, I'll move on from here. I'll go into, I'll just change it to daily. Now remember, if you want anything specifically analysed, you've got to let me know. And it'll be ideal if you've got the mic and you want to use it, put up your hand. And what I'll do is, like I said, I'll just ask you to ask the question. Everybody can hear you. I can just switch your mic on from here. Okay, let's go to. Well, I'll tell you what. Oil's been very interesting, hasn't it? At the moment, we should look at BRT because that's what we trade in. And I don't have the daily, even though it's a live contract that we get, but as you can see, this daily chart, it's all one dot. The open high and open high low last is actually always changing at the same price. So I can't really do much with it. So the only ones I can actually see is basically, you can see I've been looking at all the recent times. Here's the monthly chart. I'll go to it first. Now, this is the interesting off the target. You can see it's already met the target. So it's inside the, I guess, as low as $57. So that's off the triangle. Again, what have we got here? I just cloned this. It's probably, I think it was a huge channel. I think it's a big, huge channel there. It was in a very huge channel. It's on the upside. Again, there was an inside from here. You can see as we went up to the top, touching all those. This line, which is your support, this became its resistance. And of course, lo and behold, here's the consolidation phase. It went over many, many months, and down she went. And we certainly had our free fall. The same, I guess, when you look at this from this side, like so, you can see that narrows, but it's not the best rising wedge. Even though it's rising like as you see a rising wedge, it wasn't the best quality, unfortunately. So I wouldn't have personally relied on it as much. But it did eventuate. It broke down. Again, you can see the triangle target on the monthly. You really can't get any more than that. It's telling us it's hit a major target. It's going to consolidate here. At the moment, it's the Aussie dollar that's going to determine what's going to be at the Bowser. If the Aussie dollar stays there, which I believe it should stay around this area, and probably having even a small rally on the upside, I suspect the Bowser will be a little bit cheaper to what we're getting at the moment. I'll go now to a weekly chart. Again, because we don't have the open high, low, last on the daily, it's not a true representation when you look at the weekly because the range would have been a lot higher when you look at each individual candle. Again, this will confirm more exactly what we had seen on the other one, on the monthly. Okay, and again, as a price target, we're at the biggest one, so you might as well go to the biggest one. And that was at that level off the weekly chart, and the monthly, of course, gave us a lower target. There really hasn't been anything to get like a flag or a pennant on this. It's just, as you can see, it looks free fall, except we go back to the monthly and it tells us, no, it's hit on the monthly target, it's hit the overall. And what that basically is from here. Like on that spot there, as you can see, I'll just delete one. That's how that was taken. You can do it on a monthly. You really couldn't do that on the weekly because it was just not enough to actually see. Because over a long period of time, the best target is produced is on the monthly to get the larger target. And there really isn't anything else I can actually add to that, unfortunately, because the daily's only, the open, high, low, last is all on the same bar. Now, what I will do now is I will go to the XJO, the ASX 200 index. Oh, what have I done here? Excuse me. Let me just go somewhere else for a second. No. 1 second. Let me just take something off, each one. Off. That's just some experimental stuff that I was doing. And I'll edit now, XJO. Okay, what is the ASX 200? What can we expect from this? I mean, hasn't it been a weird market? So let's have a look at the monthly. What does it tell us? You can take it from there. You can experiment to see what it does from here. And it does also work. So you'll use the tightest one you can get to start off with. Let me delete one. And this can come into play later if it breaks. And there really isn't very much on here, is there? Well, one thing's for certain. If it breaks on the downside, we're going to have a decent fall, but there's nothing here at the moment to suggest, at least on the monthly, if you add in your trend lines here, that it has broken. And it really is in a consolidation phase, and there really isn't anything else you can add to this on the trying to get something in the future. So if we go to the weekly now, and let's drill down on this. It's there, and there's there. Either way, what do we see? We have broken down from a rising wedge. Now, rising wedges, what are they? Reversal patterns. Now, but what does a reversal pattern actually mean? Yes, we can generate a down target, but the first thing, the way we should take any reversal pattern is, yes, the up move is over. What can it do? Can it go down? Of course. Will it go down? Maybe. So what you've got to look at is what can happen is it can go down to sideways. And then we start to use the breakdown from that to try and determine potentially, is this going to go sideways or is this going to go down lower? What has it done on the weekly? Well, it broke down, and let's have a see, did it hit any targets? Well, how do we do a target first? Well, top to the bottom, to the break, top to the next level, to the bottom, to the break, top, then it goes to here, to the break. Now, we certainly hit the first two targets. We're certainly nowhere near the next target. Well, if this is a potential target, what we need is some confirmation that says it can go down to the under 5,000. Well, how do we do that? Well, is there anything else in this weekly that can tell us, okay, the first two targets have been met? Is there anything that potentially can go down that says it can go down lower? Well, first of all, is there any resistance on this chart? From here, what do we got? Okay, we've got resistance. Is there anything else to give us more information? Well, how about, can it be like this or can it be like that? The truth is, it can be either. Now, if I was to use this to produce a target, I would always use it that will give me the lowest result, not the highest result. I'd like to get the highest result, but if I always aim for the highest result and never get there, I'll be very disappointed. However, if I aim for the lowest result and it gets there and goes even better, I'll give myself a pat in the back. Now, if we get our price targeting tool from the top here to here, to its breakout potential will be somewhere around here, and there you go. So if it breaks around, what it's saying is that at least this level, we are going to see this target. And then we can ask ourselves, can there be a lower target? And yes, there can be if it happens. And last time someone said, but you told me it's going to go to this. And I said, no, I didn't say it's going to go to this. It's going to go if it looks from another pattern, confirms, and it's going to go lower, but that is a potential target. You can't say that is the target. If you're taking a lot of puts, however, you'll be wrapped if it goes there. So weekly can't really give us any more than that, other than saying, yes, there is lower targets in line, as long as it breaks through. what we've got to do now is start looking at the daily. Is daily got something that can help us out? Let's have a look. I've got to keep looking if there is any questions. I'm sorry, I've got to keep looking at the screen the other way too. Just remember, if you want to ask a question, just put your hand up. Most of you got mics, I can see that. Now, what has daily got? Geez, it looks pretty messy to me at the moment. Let's have a look. Again, I'm only doing what I did to the, oops, wrong one again. Jeez. Use the price targeting tool then. Here we are. Daily. Again, this is pretty much what we did on the price targeting. I can't see anything in here that I can actually produce a flag anywhere at this point. There was something here and a price target from there to there to the right, and there's your target there. And nicely enough, it's sort of just put its tail through it and totally reversed to the upside. But was there anything here to suggest that it would turn other than the price target? Well, let's have a look. If we just squash the chart a little bit just to see a bit more data. And is there any support? Well, you know, all we got is support from the previous one here. As you can see, right on the support line, he just came in, hit the price target, and just kicked off from there. And that's all you really had. In anything like that, if I was short on this and I hit a price target and there's major support, normally I would definitely take my money and walk away. Now, I know a lot of people like to hold on, and unfortunately, when you do that, that's where you see your money go nice into profit and all the way back, give it back again. So you need to be very careful when it comes to trading. Again, I would, if I was trading this, I would then take it to even an intraday, say a 180 minute. I'll actually switch to that and see what happens. I should have, I did all data again, I apologize. I'll change it after he does it. Now we're looking at intraday data. The system's getting a bit more data. You can probably see at the bottom, it's still got another 625 bits of data to get here. And I'm just trying to see what else you can see on the, this is 120 minutes. Let me go to 180. It doesn't really give out very much, does it? This one here. I'll drop down to 60. I guess if you were trading short and you're looking at all this, what I would be what would have helped you to get out of your short position is this here. Basically said there was a short reversal, then told you there was a flag just here. So if you were trading, this should be going click, click, and click. There's your target to the flag. Then from the bottom of the flag to the top of the flag to the breakout of the flag. And after that, you really don't have any more targets. So that's basically all you got. All you've got is now is your major resistance area, which is still 543, 540 to 570. Was it, sorry, 40, 70, about 30 points away, and there's a brick wall. So it'll be an interesting day tomorrow if it actually touches that and comes back down. Again, there is nothing else on this one at the moment. If we're speculating, if this manages to break through, by the way, this is, then it would be a broadening formation to the downside. If it does, because the bottom side has not touched the broadening formation on the lower, and I would only treat this if it breaks above and starts to move, you'd be then looking at a projection from here to there to its breakout point, and that will be marginally past. I mean, if you look here, you're talking about your 570 mark, and we're talking about 50 points higher. If it goes, and that would, because that's the broad information on the downside. Okay, I'll move on from this if everybody's kosher with it. Everybody's right. I'll just double check, make sure there's no hands up. Okay, next is the Dow Jones. Now, folks, I'll want to just repeat this. The purpose of this focus group is I want to get as much feedback as possible, because I really don't know on the other side if you're happy with it or you're not, or is something lacking. So it'd be appreciated if I get some feedback from you guys and ladies. So let me know. And I am doing now the Dow Jones, and this is all I had on my list. Now, if you want something else analysed, please let me know, and we'll take it further from there. Okay, I'll do the Dow Jones now. Where are we, Dow Jones? Let's go to monthly again. Oh, I've got some rubbish data here too. Sorry. Let me just clean that up. Okay. What a chart. Now, who would have thought we're going to see that? Considering when I sort of had a break from all this, when we have a look, I'll show you the when I left it. When we had a break from all this, we were looking at the Dow like so. Here it is, your rising wedge, all right, which is a full reversal pattern. And it was only short, I think it was after that that we almost, well, we sort of left for 2 years and came back now. But primarily, the price target out of this back then was from here to there, to the breakout. And you can see we were expecting this to go lower, down to 9,700 or down to 9,400. Now, from the top here, which is 9,768, it only came to 10,400. So it came 700 plus points, under 800 points short of its target. And look at the reversal that it did. Now, what do we have from here? You could have, when you look at this, which I found it very hard to believe, because I know somebody asked me about this. Can this be a potential target? Now, it broke on the upside, and if I remove this line, and I'll bring it back later, and I'm just looking at it purely as a triangle, nothing else, purely as a triangle. And somebody said to me, the Dow, because it broke above here, is going to go as high as this. I would have said, you're pulling my leg. Come on, let's be realistic here. But you know what? It's gone higher. Now, I wouldn't have believed it, even though the pattern said potentially it can go higher. I'll just remove that for a second. In addition, we had other things along the way. Oops, I didn't put it right there, sorry. Just redraw that a little bit. Didn't grab it where it's supposed to. Clone. Again, I just couldn't believe it myself. I mean, even from here, clone that one. Like even today, I just can't believe it. I'm expecting this to reverse and stroke me. I just can't get over that. But these are the patterns. The patterns don't lie. They can fail every now and again, but they don't lie. So this is the target to there, flag from here, again there. I'll just clean that up. Now, where to from here is the question. Well, let's have a look. Let's have a look. I want a couple of touches. Now, using the body of the red, I'm just cutting a little bit of the tail, but I'm touching this tail and I'm touching there. Now, again, I'm finding it very difficult because it's failed so many times here. What do we got? We have a humongous rising wedge. Now, we had seen it break here and did a U-turn and recover. Now, it goes to show if there's a lot of money in the economy and, governments are making pledges or promises they're going to do this and the other, what can actually happen? But this is the actual pattern that we've got. I just want to check something here. Just curious. Just took a note of something. No, I thought maybe I can have another brick wall here, but I don't. How about through here? See, this is where we had the brick walls on there also. So it's gone through all this. I just cannot believe what it had done there. But anyway, we've got to work with what we got. And this is still inside the rising wedge. I have to look now, is there anything else I can say that, has this hit a target? Can it go any higher? If it has hit the target and it's near the top end of a rising wedge, potentially, yes, we might get a reversal. So what can we see here for a potential target? So what do we got? When it comes to weekly and monthlies, if you remember, all we need is 2 bars to actually create a flag or a pennant. And here we are. Bottom of the tail to the top, to the breakout, and there's our target. Now, you have to forgive me, I should probably made this a little bit bigger, and I don't know if I actually hit it exactly what it was supposed to, but what it's telling us, it's about there. Now, the highest it's been is 17,289, or the high? No, that's telling me where that is, sorry. 1 second. Just go up there, the highest. Oops, my mouse is so fine. It is high is 17,991. Well, 91 to 8,032, I reckon that's, 41 points away. Okay, so we're talking about major target here, again, from the flag. It is close to the top of the rising wedge, so you would expect potentially it's going to hit some sort of brick wall. And if anything, it would consolidate. So let's drill down a bit further now. Let's go to weekly. I'll just squash it a little bit up just to get all the data to the point that I need. So wrong one. Okay, this is the weekly from where it all began at the bottom. Now, normally when I took the monthlies, actually from here. So if we try to do it on here, you can see we're going to get a lot of data all over the place here. So it's going to be a little bit difficult here. What do we got? That's going to be difficult to do it as a rising wedge, so we can't use this as a rising wedge because it's going to be cutting through data. So okay, somebody send me an email to something. And just having a look, 100 years. Someone's saying there's a reversal. Okay, let's have a look at this. Now this is pretty good for the top. As we can see, top, 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 top. Okay, so we got 1, 2, 3, 4 tops. Okay, so we have 4 tops here. It's telling us there's a pretty good brick wall. So I wouldn't try, to anyone here, I wouldn't be going long. Now remember, don't take this as personal advice, as I can't give you personal advice, only general. I don't know your personal circumstance, but I certainly would not be going long at this. It's so close to a 1, 2, 3, 4, a 5th touch as a brick wall. This can be a reversal also, okay? So we can treat it as a reversal. And I'm just trying to find if there's anything else to create another pattern at the moment. And support in that area there. As you can see, if you put your previous high here and go across, you can see that's your support way kicked off from there. But at the same time, if this breaks below that, it'll be going down to this level instead. And there is nothing else here on the weekly. I have to say, it's bloody terrible. There's no other pattern that I can see. No, there's no other pattern that I can see. So that's all I really can do on the weekly going forward. I'll drop it down to daily and go from there. I'll just go to daily. Is daily. Just delete that. Unbelievable it is. So vicious. Just squash it up a bit more. Pardon me, I'm just thinking to myself at the moment, what can I see if I'm missing something? That one shows it a bit higher, but if I squash it up, I think there's more data at a different level. No, it's different. I think that's what I was looking at daily before. Yeah, that was that one. I think that's more credible. This one's more credible because it's got more touches than the other one. Just go out a bit again. Actually, it doesn't really. I thought maybe I can get a little broad information going or something, but it would have been too late. It's got to break above it. But no, it's not good enough for that either. God, don't give much away at all. Clone. Oh goodness, I'll go down to intraday. All you got here is a channel, which is historical now, so it's useless. Actually, I'll take that back maybe. Yeah. Try another one. I think that's more. Let's have a look at that one. If I treat this as a broad information, you'll be looking at this target. And the thing is, there's a brick wall there. Well, this is about 70, it was at 870, so it's about 50 points past the target that we saw before. However, on this channel, what you've got is a number of targets. First, from here is your first target, then from here. And we are at the target. So this is telling me that we're at the target. Upside on the monthly is probably pretty much close to being there. What we said, 40, 50 points away. The weekly is the same. I think on the upside there's very little left. I mean, unless it truly breaks any channels and continues to go leaps and bounds like before, I think this is the side of caution on this. I wouldn't be jumping in for shorts straight away. However, I'd be looking consolidations and very short-term trades. If you're trading intraday on the upside and you're trying to scalp out, 20, 30 points, I'd say no problems, up to 40 points. But if you're trying to look at something where you look at this on a casual basis and you're trying to position options or take other positions in shares, I would seriously be very careful with this. We are really at the crossroads. We're not at the bottom of that rising wedge. We are at the top end of it. Means that if once it gets to the top, regardless, it does meet that resistance and it tends to start to edge off. Regardless of, it could be 40, 50 points, 60 points, it doesn't matter, it could be 150 points. But I would treat it like that. So unless you're a rider of options, means that that's what you want. You want an X amount of points on either side, and you ride options and you collect the premium. That's pretty much. But even there, I have to put the side of caution at the moment, because if it goes down to the downside of the rising wedge, look, even if it doesn't meet any major target, because of the way it is, let's be realistic. This market, ever since they started pumping this money into the economy, I'm shy of saying I reckon it's close to manipulated, but you can't really say that. They're saying the market is what the market is, and you go with the ride or don't go against them. At the end of the day, and that's what, if you're going to trade, that's what you really got to do. But what you've got to say to yourself, the way it's been going, there's more upside than downside. That's the way it's been. What can that relate going forward? You know what? They mightn't let it fall as much as the targets on the big targets say they will. So if it says it's going to go down by, you get a target 3,000 or 4,000 points, maybe it's going to take a lot longer to get there, or it might consolidate for a while before even, gets anywhere near to anything like that. So you need to be, I guess, very cautious. Don't put all your money in one basket. Be careful, and just trade very carefully. Okay, next one. Someone requested ANZ. Just have a look. Is there anything else? ANZ. Okay. Let's have a look at ANZ. Go to daily for this, and some other ones. What I did there. Okay. Again, what are we looking here? What a trend. Just unbelievable. Well, we have to say it's respecting the trend. So we got 1, 2, 3 on the fourth touch. However, that's a pretty good looking rising wedge, I have to say. Now, can it break it now? Of course it can. Will it break it now? That's a good question. Right now you can see it's the bottom end of the wedge. You can do one or two things: break it or bounce off it and go to the upper end of the wedge. So if the Dow is also at the top end, let's say, and some of our financial institutions are almost looking the same. I think you might find Commonwealth Bank and NAB might look pretty close to the same also. You have to ask yourself, well, you know what? If this thing doesn't go down in any big way, maybe it'll just go sideways. And that's what a reversal pattern is. As much as we can say this can go down lower, but it can go sideways if it doesn't. Now, what else is there in this monthly chart? Let's have a look. Well, again, what are we seeing? We broke down from this inner trend, and the reason, by the way, I cut this tail, you can see I took it to the body because it reversed. I took it to the opening because it went up. Okay, I didn't put it in between. Now, has it hit any target? Well, from here to here to here, I think it just touched it. Just touched it if you have a look. Just touched it. So it consolidated in that spot there. Can it go lower? Well, so far there's no reason why it wouldn't. I'll just put that line back on. There's no reason why it wouldn't. However, it touched this line. As you can see, they just touch, touch, touch. This is the fourth touch. Yes, it might bounce a little bit up before it goes down. It's a possibility. This is a monthly chart, and the month is not far away. In fact, sometime next week, I think, isn't it? So we'll see how it ends up there. If it breaks below that, the next target on this, well, we can start using this as a target, and then we can go to this bigger one. However, the target from the next one down is from here. Okay, and the one after that, if it goes down to there, below the line. Now, because this is below the line, look at this major trend. This is monthly, okay? So don't expect, yes, it'll definitely go there. It might, if it breaks down. It's a long way away still, but you've got to look at the shorter ones, then this one here, then this major trend line, and then If it breaks there, you start looking. That can, if it does that, by the way, that could be many, many months. Okay, we might have a downturn year in the new year. We don't know. The weight shaping and consolidation, if it follows through with a pattern, yes, that is possible. Very, very possible. What we do need to see is another continuation pattern, either on the monthly or a weekly or a daily, to give us any hints if this is going to occur. What we're seeing is a reversal pattern potential. The major reversal pattern has not broken, as you can see. This is its line, okay? This is its line, so it hasn't broken. If it breaks and closes below, remember what happened with the Dow? It broke and it made a very low, and then it came back and the bloody thing closed above it. It was about 1,000 odd point change. So you need to be very, very careful. That's why you need to not look at one time frame. You need to look at multiple time frames and consider all of them together before making any decision. Okay, let me go to the weekly and see what that gives us. Okay, now on a weekly, let's look at the whole picture first, and then we'll break it down. And let's just take that from its low, since I've done that before. Okay, as you can see, when it gets to the weekly, we can push it upwards to there, and that will give us the touch, the touch, the touch, and the touch. You can see it's a nice bounce off that. So let's have a look what else it tells us. We'll just confirm what we said before first. And you can see 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, 4 on the top. At the moment, you've got more than 4 at the bottom. You got really 1, 2, 3, 4. You really got 5 at the bottom. Now, this is a real serious pattern. Now, when you get that many touches, rarely do they fail, and I really mean rarely. All right, it's got good distance to go, so it's not near the end, which makes it extra strong. Now we break it down further. Now we go like so, and you can see that if I lower this a bit lower, you'll see they will be all touching. Oops, wrong one. Come here, you. There we are. Oh, I didn't lower it well enough, did I? Let's try again. Oops. Come here, you. There you go. Now, if we look at that, what pattern have we got here? Look, if you want to look at it as a contradictory pattern, what do you got here? You're talking about a little broadening formation, or a little horn, basically. That's instead of broadening formations are the big ones, but the little ones are little horns. Okay, so potentially from a target perspective, that can go either way, by the way. So if we where's the target? If we take this target from here to here, if it breaks on the upside, and I've got to just try to marry it roughly, there's your up. That will bring it to the top of the broadening, to the top of the rising wedge. However, if it goes to the downside, we have to see what that's going to be further down here to break, so I can't really do anything. It means if it goes to the downside, it's already broken, and that's going to have even a lower, in fact, I've got to draw this. It's going to have a lower price target. So what we do, we're going to extend this line. Where's my extenders? So we're going to extend this line like that. That means if this goes back down, it's got to break down here somewhere. Now, if that broke down, means it's broken here and it's broken there. So you'll have double whammies. So, and this is, if you're talking about trading on the short side, that's going to be a pretty good, not personal advice. Okay, remember that, because it's already broken through these. Okay, so you got down targets all the way through here if you do those. And we're going to now do this one also, assuming it breaks through the rising wedge, and this will bring it down to probably down here. You got that target down to the $27 mark, and in addition, through the rising wedge, you're going to be going click. In fact, it's too far to go. You're talking a ridiculous price target. I'll put it up to show you, but you know, you're talking to, well, where do you go? Didn't I do it? Oh, sorry, I'll do it again. Oh, I did the stop loss tool. That was ridiculous again. Sorry about that again. Let's go again. So you'll be talking a humongous price target if that happens. You're talking down to $18 if that reverses. I'll be certainly taking my put options and that breaks down strongly. However, again, not personal advice, I don't know personal circumstance, but that follows through. If that happens, you've got target here, target there, target there. I can line this a bit better to get these targets in addition to the rest. So you'll get full targets all the way down. And that's how you'd look at the weekly. What I'll do is I'll go to the daily now. I think you've got enough to do with yourself. You can practice with that yourselves now. Let's go to the daily. And just to let you know, we've been going for just almost an hour and 10 minutes since I've hit the disclaimer on there. I set it up for an hour and a half, and it's telling me it'll shut down in just under 20 minutes. So we'll see how we go. If you need any more after ANZ, put it up, or else we'll wind it up if you had enough of it. Okay, let's have a look at this daily one. What do we got? We've got certainly a bottom support area. Well, as you can see, this could be a descending triangle, not the best descending triangle, but because we don't really have many touches. There's one touch, and I'm just trying to lower this a little bit more to get that touch just here. Just there. So it's nearly there. Now, if this is going to break up, the truth of the matter is it's not a very strong one. So you can technically go even just to here. You say, you know what, this could go sideways. There's no flag. There's no pennant. The stuff that we've been looking at are very unclean when it comes to short-term stuff. If you remember the past intros that we ran in workshops and so forth, I mean, the dailies had great flags and pennants. The weeklies had great ones. The way the market's gone in the past 2 years, it's gone extremely messy. Now, is it going to keep doing that? I think till such time the whole market corrects itself, I reckon it's going to stay like that. It's going to stay messy. But as soon as it shakes up, I think you'll find they'll start to get more order. That's my opinion for what it's worth. Now, the daily is not really giving us any more. The only other thing I can only say now is, would the 180 minutes or 60 minutes give us any more? All we can do is go and have a look. Just switching over, getting the data. Ooh. Sorry, Kevin, I didn't see your hand up there, mate. But ask your question. Hello, can you hear me, Kevin? Oh, maybe your microphone doesn't work. Hello, Kevin? Okay, maybe you need to check your microphone then. Your hand's up. I just shut your mic. I just turned it off there, so it won't interfere with mine. Okay, not a problem. Just having a look at any other question, by the way. Just scrolling through. Oh, Kevin replied, that was my question. That's fine, no worries, Kevin. ANZ was his question. All right. I should have looked at the hand earlier. It's been up there for a little while. My apologies. Okay, let's have a look here now. What are we looking here? Oh, that's 60 minutes. Let's go to 180 first, actually. It really is not very clean, I have to say. What's this gap? Any corporate action? Yep. Okay, as you can see, I was wondering what the gap was just there. That's due to a dividend. Must be Jimmy. Jimmy, you would have took puts there, no doubt. Okay. Now, let's have a look. From the top, has this penetrated through at the moment, or is it just holding its ground? So time to watch it. At the bottom, it really is more of a channel. Again, if this breaks on the upside, you can have a target on the upside based on the channel. Let's just clone it actually to make it look more appropriate, just to make sure it's right. Yeah, that's okay. It's fine. Oh, wrong one. Okay. If ANZ breaks on the upside, remember there's major resistance at the top levels here, at the top. However, if it does break on the, I'll take a more conservative target, is I'll go from this point rather than to, because the low, then the opening's here. So I go right across to the bodies to a breakout. If it breaks here, you can see this is saying it'll go above it, still inside the rising wedge, but if it's trading on the upside, basically your 180-minute chart says it can go as high as that, from 32, almost say $1.80 to the top of resistance. I certainly, if I took this trade, I certainly would have traded to 34. I'd be trying to get out even a bit below that, because you can see all the way across there's major resistance around here. Even though it is all the way to the 34 level, I would be extra cautious knowing where you are in that rising wedge. Okay, I'll drop it down to 60 minutes now and see if we can get anything else there. Again, on the 60-minute chart, it doesn't really alter anything else. The same targets. I'll just do it from the 60-minute perspective. If it breaks to the upside, again, more conservative, because the low's down here, but it opened up here. So what I'd like to do is go all the way across, and that's what I did before. And I usually go to the bodies rather than the thing. And again, there's the same target, just confirming it. But remember, this is short-term trading. I'd probably trade it between a 30 and a 60-minute chart. I'll even look at a 10-minute if I have to get a better entry price. I'll go put it back to daily. Just checking if any more. If anyone else wants another instrument analyzed, please let me know now, or we will be winding up. Okay. Okay, so everybody's satisfied with that, hopefully. Again, I'll just take the opportunity to thank everybody for coming to this little focus group. We basically only analyze 6 instruments. However, like I said, the goal for us is to make sure going forward we basically do it the right way and everybody gets the maximum benefit. We don't intend to charge anything for any of our webinars. They'll all be for free. That's to support our existing clientele and people that we've known in the past. So your support has been greatly appreciated. We will try to do what we can to get things moving along. As you are aware, we've got a variety of developments that are happening in the background, and those things need to be done first, and we can get in a more comfort zone after that. Again, it is, like I said, it's really important for us to get your feedback. I mean, I'm looking at these screens, I'm talking to myself. That's how it actually feels. It's quite strange. I never had to talk to myself like this, but if someone sort of walked past the door and heard me talking, they probably thought I was a bit of a nutcase. So, so I really would appreciate your feedback on this. If something's not quite right, or I need to improve in any way, please don't hesitate to be as blunt as possible. If there's any problems in understanding how to use the software further, do we need to do some sort of video clip or something, a tutorial to help people better, we will certainly do that. Again, is just, someone says that's just fine. Thank you for that. But it's got to be, comfortable for everybody. I know, like I said, everything that I do here, I'm talking to myself, but it's not the same. I have to say, I really do enjoy those face-to-face ones. You can get people's expressions. You can see when they they get it or they're not sure, then I try to find other ways of trying to repeat myself. And hence, this is what I've been trying to do. Whilst I've been going through these instruments, I've been trying to find different ways of actually explaining them. Hopefully I'll get better with time. I really do thank you for your time. I'm planning to see if I can run maybe one more before New Year. Where we intend to send an email out either today or tomorrow to the entire group just to let them know we've basically done our focus, the first focus, and hopefully I'll run another 2, maybe 3 more focus groups, and hopefully learn from the experience, and we'll take it further from there. So look again, thank you very much. If I don't talk to anybody for whatever reason from now till the new year, I wish everybody a happy new year. I certainly wish all of you a very happy Merry Christmas and a safe one. I know things can get a bit drastic in the festive season, but please do take care of yourselves. And you might be the safe driver. Certainly there'll be a lot of idiots on the road anyway. So thank you again, and I'll say good night.